This is called Petrov's defence according to Lee Chess. It starts with a king pawn opening. Then the knight comes out. Looks like they're going to maybe do a Roy Lopez. But what we do is we attack his pawn. We mirror. I play this a lot, and I do get great success with it. I don't know if it's just because it's uncharted territory for players or what, but I like it. I don't know how old this defence is, whether it's perhaps beyond the repertoire now so they don't bother to learn it, but I always feel like they don't really know how to play it. I'd say 50-50 whether they capture this or not, or perhaps even slightly more than 50% will not capture it. Because then of course you can try advancing the pawn to threaten the knight, but this works better, I think, on this occasion anyway, as you will see. Now it does look like there's a real danger of him advancing that pawn and winning a piece. So we get rid of the pawn and he attacks with the queen. So again, what he is seeing is, there is logic to attacking with the queen, because when you see undefended pieces lying around on the board, then generally it's the queen that's going to snap them up. So although it might have been more prudent to attack that with a pawn, I can see why he used the queen to attack it. And obviously pinning the king, so because the only way I can defend it is like this, and now of course bang, and what he's basically trying to do is win the knight for nothing. But the strategic advantages I'm going to gain are quite big. Watch, I get to castle, and now he's already thinking that there's a rook ready to threaten his queen, to potentially pin it against the king, to potentially win it. So he grabs his prize, grabs it anyway, and I recapture. So as you see, he cannot recapture with the queen, because then I would simply win the queen by just moving the rook to e8. So he has to retreat with the knight. And now you've got to ask yourself, I've given up a piece, but is my position really that bad? He has got nothing developed. Nothing. I mean, his queen is sort of developed, and that bishop, that black one, is sort of developed, but I'm commanding a rank. I've got an advanced pawn, I've got a bishop sitting out there, and I've got a queen sitting out there on the right colour to work with that bishop. My king is castled, and I've obliterated his pawn centre by some sort of magic, some sort of dark magic, because that obliteration of the pawn centre wasn't even sort of consciously happening in there, was it? So let's just push it on. I know this can just be the death of a pawn. I don't know if this was the right move. As I said, it was a blitz game. Perhaps fianchettoing the white bishop to protect that would have been a better move, I don't know. And he recaptures with the bishop, but still we can pin and pin and pin and pin. And he doesn't want that queen to be in line with the king anymore. He just doesn't like that. He's not even going to capture, because he just doesn't like that. So now I can take that, and again, you see, he does not want to recapture with the queen. He doesn't want to lose that queen. And now he's got a pawn that's very difficult to defend. In its current position, only the queen can defend it, and it's the only thing in front of his king. So we could have used the rook to pile on the pressure, but instead what I want to do is disrupt his pawn structure. So we do it like this. He's got to do that. We do it like this. He's got to do that. He could have tried to offer the exchange there, I suppose. Might have been a better move, because now he loses that, and as you see, his structure now is catastrophic. We're not going to win the rook. Sometimes you do. He gives this check and then comes down here. And I decided not to go for taking the rook. There are ways of trapping the queen up there that I wasn't going to mess with, because I felt my position was so good, and actually because of where my rook is with this open commanding file, I thought it was a better move to check him here. And the reason is, checking him here, he's either going to have to move his king, which is going to prove, very difficult, because after he moves the king, I'll take that bishop with the queen. Say, for example, he moves the king here. That's really bad. That's really bad. So he blocks trying to force the exchange of queens. But again, you see, even if I take this, that's very nice for me. But we can go better than that. We can do this, check. And this loses the queen. If he takes that, I take the queen with check. What did he do? Oh, he did take it. Beg your pardon. What was the other option? The other option was if I take that and he recaptures. Did I go through that? I think I did. Okay, so anyway, it's not looking good. This will lose him the queen no matter what. And yeah, what was the other option then? I'm just trying to think. Oh yeah, the other option would have been, after this, would have been to move the king, but again, instamate. That's what I was trying to get at. So check, bang, bang, bang. Just get the bishop out. And the rest was a bit messy. At this point you have to play rather carefully, because two knights can take a queen. And we also needed to look at the threat of, as soon as he gets this rook over, we need to start thinking of getting back ranked, because that becomes a threat as well, with these undeveloped pieces on the queen side. So just getting that rook onto the rank. Watching out for these knights. They can be tricky. Get rid of them if you can. Little check here. And now again, got to watch out for being back ranked. So just create that space, that survival space. And now his pieces are badly coordinated. Nothing's defending anything else really. So it's going to be easy to... Here we are. He probably should have taken the bishop. Well, no, he couldn't take the bishop, could he? And it's all pretty much over bar the shouting now. And he resigned before I could take that rook with checkmate. Petrov's defense.